Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I want to do my usual Palantir earnings preview, and this video kind of has to be a warning. You're going to see it when we get to the end of the video, and usually I make predictions like Palantir is going to blow up on earnings or Palantir is going to collapse after earnings, and almost always I've been wrong on these predictions. But hey, I'm not in it for this quarter or the next quarter. I'm in it for the very long term. So let's get into this video. Please make sure that you're subscribed. I want to give a shout out to the channel members. I think there is like 17 channel members now, and you guys are amazing in supporting the channel. And by the way, I just got a new interview confirmed with Peter Beck from Rocket Lab 2 days after earnings. And as a thank you to the channel members, I want you guys to submit questions, and I will pick out the best questions and make sure to ask Mr. Peter Beck those questions. So if you're a channel member and you comment, I'm going to see the signs by your name, so you can just comment the questions that you want me to ask him. Cool. So let's begin the video. Palantir earnings is just in a few days, guys. It's on the 5th of August, next Monday after the bell close. And we are going into these earnings not undervalued, to say the least. I would want to say that we are currently priced to almost perfection. And there was a Rocket Lab content creator who did a video about how his thesis about Rocket Lab has changed over the time. And I just got an idea from him, an inspiration, if you want to say, to look at what I was thinking about Palantir when I invested. And to be honest, Palantir is one of those stories that is playing out better than I ever thought that it would. And I would say that at this point, I'm a bit unsure how to value the company, because there is so much good news, and it's, how do you call it? Like, the stock can fall victim of its own success. You will see what I mean. So this is my Patreon model. Let me, or channel member model. This is what you get access to when you become a channel member. And I built this model calculating with a 22% growth for Palantir, a 32% margin, 3% dilution, and I did something wrong. Yes, because it's not a percent, it's 22 times. Here we go. And this is a very simple model. It's an oversimplified model. I'm sure that Emir, if he would be looking at this, he would be shaking from how simplistic this model is. But basically, I'm looking at the operating income. This is like before the share dilution, so it's like the cash flow from operations. They call it the adjusted operating income. In 2025, with this growth, I get $1 billion, and I basically put a 50 multiple on that, which I think if you're growing 22%, you double that. That's like a peg rate. It's not exactly a peg rate, but you double that, it would be 44. I rounded up to 50 because of all the AI hype, and then you would get a share price of 23, and we're quite a bit over that. So you have to understand that there's a lot of growth already being priced into the stock, and it's not for a bad reason, because when you look at how the stock is doing, every metric is going in the right direction. And I'm just going to come back to a point that I named earlier, but I want to go through. So the adjusted operating income, you can see it's clearly just going up into the right. So this means that Palantir is becoming operationally more efficient. They're getting done more with less, and it's fantastic to see. And this number is crazy freaking high. If you look at any of their metrics here on this graph, everything is going in the right direction. 40% year over year US commercial growth, 69% year over year customer growth. And as we know, for Palantir's business model, the customers usually start small. So the fact that the customer count is outpacing the revenue, it means that there is a jet lag, if you will, of revenue increase coming. We just don't know how much. Then when you look at their GAAP net income, the chart is just beautiful. When you look at the GAAP operating income, because here they also count the interest income that Palantir is get from the war chest that they're having. By the way, $4 billion in the bank. And 5% interest on that is almost 200 million. Obviously, they don't have all of it in treasuries and with the 5% interest, but it would be $200 million per year or 50 million per quarter. And then the bears could say that, yeah, like the only reason why this chart looks so good is because Palantir is getting all the interest income. But if you look at the GAAP operating income, this only takes into account the money that is spent or gotten in via operations, and the chart is just one of the most beautiful charts that you have ever seen. I'm going to be very curious to see how this chart develops. But here's the issue with Palantir. When I invested in this company, they had Palantir Foundry, they had Palantir Gotham, and they were testing different products. They came out with Apollo, and Alex Karp was really trying to hype Apollo, that this is going to be the next multi-billion dollar product. And by the way, you don't hear anything about Apollo. And funny enough, I think the CrowdStrike outage that happened is the perfect use case for Apollo, because as far as I understand, Apollo helps the rolling out of different updates, and it's making sure that the update is working good with the old system, and if it's not working good, it's very easy to rewind the update and then fix the bugs and re-update it. But anyways, the point is you don't hear about that. And when I invested, Palantir had a very bad go-to-market strategy, and everything changed about the company, and they even came out with new products like the AIP, and they're really going all in on boot camps, which is a completely different marketing strategy. And the warning that I want to give you is that I don't believe currently anybody knows the new Palantir. We don't have numbers on how good the boot camps are converting. We don't have numbers on how well those customers are being upsold, and which I'm sure Palantir has early numbers on these, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody asked Alex Karp and he's also like, look, we need more time to get the data, because it's only been one short year with AIP and boot camps, and it's crazy how fast this company is developing. So the point I was trying to make here is it's so interesting that when I invested in Palantir, my thesis was one thing, and it didn't really play out that way. And I think what I did really good with the investment is that I invested into a management team that I really, really trusted. And despite the thesis not playing out, I mean, it's playing out way better than I ever thought it would be, but it is because management was pivoting and changing and adapting to market conditions. And now we have a new Palantir, and this new Palantir, we don't fully know yet, if we're being completely honest. And this is why this earnings might be a warning. This is the guidance that they have given us. So the guidance is between $649 to $653 million in Q2. And adjusted income between these two numbers, let's call it 211 in the middle and 651. If we go back to this evaluation model and I open my quarterly results, then you're going to see that the 651 is a 22% increase, and the 211 is a 32% adjusted gross margin, which is down from 36, but it's a 56% increase compared to Q2 last year, where it was only 135 million. So And what's wrong with this, if you ask me? What's wrong with this is if you plug a 22% growth number with a 32% margin, you get a $23 market price in this valuation. So the market, and even if you look out to 2030 and Palantir is growing at 22% all the way out to 2030, then you get a stock price of $53 in 2030. And if you discount that back to today with a 15% return, then you only get 21%. So there is more growth priced into the stock than what they have guided for. This is what I mean by they are being priced to perfection. So two things can happen on these earnings. One is that they completely blow it out of the park and they report and they should, like all the signs, if you follow the boot camps, if you follow what's happening behind the scenes, all the signs are showing to that revenue should accelerate very, very significantly. Let's say that they manage to increase the revenue to 26%. You can see that it drastically changes not the 2025 numbers, but the 2030 numbers, because here, suddenly the stock price increases to $26. If you remember, it was like $21 in current value. It's pretty late when I'm recording this. Sorry, I just had a Joe Biden moment. So, but even the 26% growth is not enough to justify where we are today. So now let's play with this and let's increase the growth to 30%. Then we get a stock price of 33% and $82 in 2030. And if you discount it with 15% back to today, then you have a 33% stock price. So they pretty much have to report a 28-30% growth in order to justify the current price and even have a rally. Now, that is a very, very tall order when it comes to Palantir, because we know that there is a lag between them getting customers and the customers are scaling up. There could be a middle version of this where they report a slightly increase. So let's say they increase the growth to 26%, which doesn't justify the price today, but then they give us clues that this is going to accelerate further in the future, and I think that would make the stock stay at the level that it is. So if they just come in with a slight beat, and let's say that they're growing 23%, which is a beat, I think that the stock price is going to plummet and it will go back to the 20s. So it's very, very interesting. I'm definitely not thinking about selling Palantir because I'm not here for this quarter or the next quarter, but I do believe on the very, very short term, we're priced to perfection, and this is a brand new Palantir. It's not a Palantir that at least I invested in. Again, everything has played out way better than I ever expected that it would, but this new Palantir, I don't know yet. I have a hard time to evaluate it. I think the market has a hard time to evaluate it, and we're going to get some data points after this earnings call. I'm very not sure that it's going to be enough data points that we can confidently evaluate the company after this, but we just might. We just have to wait and see. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments below, what are you expecting for Palantir earnings? I just want to do a sentiment check if we are bullish or bearish going into these earnings. Let's see. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.